The dryer's going, so you know what that means. New video alert. Hello, ladies and gays. I know of at least 2 gays, I think, that watch me. Maybe 3. Well, I don't know. Anyway, we are here today with a new video because I have been planning to make this video for a week now, and it took a week to get a product in. That's ridiculous. This product was supposed to come last Wednesday and was delayed, and then there was a holiday, and then it was delayed, and it finally arrived today. So we're going to look at it. It's the new Louis Vuitton La Bouteille Le Crayon. It is a lip liner from Louis Vuitton La Bouteille, creative director Miss Pat McGrath. And there are 10 shades of this lip liner, and we are going to take a look today at 5 of those shades. I tried to get something from each family. We are also going to look at a new blush product from Armani. They have come out with their new Armani Dolce Makeup Stick Blushes. And we are going to take a look at 3 colors of those today. There are 5 total. So if that sounds good to you, then please go ahead and like the video and subscribe and tell your friends and shop my links and all that goodness, even though Louis Vuitton's not giving me a discount. And let's go. So I've been wanting to do this video for over a week, and these were supposed to come in last Friday, and they just came in today, as in like 2 hours ago. So I threw on a base, and I'll quickly tell you what that is. I've got the new YSL Cushion Foundation and the YSL Touche Eclat Concealer. I've got a little of the Marc Jacobs bronzer on, and then on my eyes I have Cold Copper and Shell from Armani, the liquid shadows, and I have the Prada Brown liner and mascara. So really simple. Wanted to do a really quick base, but the focus of today is a little cheek and a lot of lip. And we're going to do swatches and comparisons, and then we're going to pull out the Louis Vuitton La Bouteille Vault and try some different combos with these new liners. So let's start with the blushes. Now, everybody has been coming out with stick blushes lately. I don't remember the last powder blush. Like a big powder blush. I'm trying to think of who it was. Anyway, Armani has entered the game, and I love Armani Beauty. And when I saw these, I laughed because they are so tiny. Like, let's see. Well, you know what? They're pretty comparable to like the Merit full size. But they're very, very small. And I thought, well, this is ridiculous. We're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I looked at the bottom and realized that you're getting 8 grams of product in here. And unlike Rhode Beauty or Marc Jacobs, the reason is because they're not wasting an inch in this container. It's a perfect little capsule that holds a lot of product. For instance, I said this is 8 grams of product. Let's compare. So the Merit full size is 9 grams of product, so it's a little bigger. Then we have the Pat McGrath stick blushes, and these are 7 grams of product. We have the new Marc Jacobs stick blushes, and this is 6 grams of product. We have a Chanel stick blush. These are 6 grams of product. We have the Lisa Eldridge stick blushes, which I really love. These are 4.8 ounces of product. 4.8 grams of product, 0.17 ounces. And then we come over to the Dior, which are so popular, and these are 6 grams of product. So you're actually getting right on par with the Merit. You're getting much more product than you are in most of those. And you know what? You're getting 8 times the amount of product. The new Victoria Beckham Blush Stylus, where you get 1 ounce of product or 1 gram of product. I got to get better at the math stuff. You get 1 gram of product with these. You get 8 times the amount with these. So please do not see these and think that you're getting, you know, a tiny amount of product, or that these are so tiny. They're just really compact in here and so much less bulky than like the new Marc Jacobs one. They have the same kind of rubbery matte feeling, but when you compare the amount of product, or you compare the way the product is designed, you can see the difference here. There's very little wasted space on this one, where this one's got quite a bit of wasted space. The thing that makes these so nice as well, I'm going to say these are this Armani are really outstanding product design, or container design, component design, is that these work so well with a brush, because you can easily just go in with a brush with these, and they fit so nicely to a brush. So there are 5 colors total. I think they're $38, but I believe there are 5 colors total. I have 3 of them. There are 2 others. There's a dark brown, which is like a cinnamon, I think it's what it's called, and then there is a really bold orangey coral color. I did not get those 2. I got these 3 shades. The first one is the traditional kind of rose shade, which looks a little more coral in the container, but it goes on more of a rose. And then I got the color caramel, which is this beautiful pinky brown mid-tone. And then finally I got the one called mauve, which is a dark, deeper rosy color. I'm sure they will come out with more pinks and berries, but this is a really beautiful color, you know, set of 5 colors, particularly for this time of year. So what we'll do today is swatch these. And I really love the container. I'm gonna keep saying it. Don't let the small size fool you. So the first one here is the rose color. And it's just a beautiful mid-tone rose. It's got some coral in there. I wouldn't have called this one rose. I don't know what I would have called it, but it's a beautiful color nonetheless. Then we have the caramel shade, and these just twist up, and the cap twists on, so you can make sure you're getting a really good seal with these. So that's caramel. And then finally, I don't have those other 2, the orange or the cinnamon, but I do have mauve. And this is a beautiful color. And you can see these are highly pigmented. They're almost covering my tattoo, and that's 2 layers. So they're a lot more pigmented than, say, like the Lisa Eldridge, which I love the Lisa Eldridge, but it's more buildable. I'll show you. So this is the Lisa Eldridge in pomegranate. See how you can see more transparency there. And I'll just show you the Marc Jacobs. This is the Marc Jacobs in Papa Don't Peach, which is also a little bit more transparent. Kind of, this color here is a cross between a rose and this peach color. So it's very unique. But that doesn't mean that these are so pigmented that they're going to be difficult to use. I have already tried them, and they are really, really beautiful. So let's go ahead and get started with how do we want to do this? Well, I think I'm going to put rose to the side, because I bet a lot of people are going to show that one off, and I'm going to use mauve and caramel. I'll use mauve a little higher and caramel a little lower. So let's do mauve, and I do think you could put these on. They're not as tight in the pan as like the Pat McGrath or even the Marc Jacobs. They're not as loose as like the Dior. They kind of remind me of like the Merit. But I'm going to go brush. I don't think that I would normally just place this directly on and blend, although I think you could. Armani products are just sort of fail-proof. So this is the mauve shade. And you can see right off the bat, there's a lot of pigment there. So if you were worried about it being too much pigment, you obviously could put the pigment on your hand, which I'll try on this time, and then pick it up with the brush. And that's going to give you a more diffused look. So this one over here looks a little crazy right now, but that's because I picked up a lot of product on the brush directly. So it really just depends on what look you're going for. They are beautifully blendable. Look a little bruised, but it's okay. It'll calm down there. And then let's try the caramel shade on more of the center of the cheek. And let's place this on the hand this time so we don't run into too much product again. And this helps distribute it on the brush. That's a lighter and warmer color. You can see there. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Just put a nice amount on my hand and distribute it through the brush. I think that looks really nice. I mean, it looks a little bold, don't get me wrong. I've gone a little crazy up in here, but I can blend it through. And I put these on top of just the foundation, and they look really beautiful. Now, I feel like I need a little life. This is a little dark right now, so I'm going to take a little bit of this rose and just put it on top of the cheek. So we're going to see how all three of these go together. But let me work that through the brush. And I just grabbed a tiny amount, but it just adds a little pink to it. It's nothing crazy. Okay, so I really, really like these. I think if you like the Merit, you'll really like these. The popular Merit color is called Beverly Hills, and it reminds me a good deal of the new Armani in mauve. Let me show you. I'm running out of hands here. So let's compare. Yeah. So over here we have the Armani in mauve, and here we have the Merit in Beverly Hills. It's just a little bit lighter, but the Armani ones are very pigmented, but they're very blendable and beautiful. So I don't think you should be scared of them. If you're scared of pigment, just use a light hand. That also means they're a really good value, because at $38 for 8 grams, and you're not having to go in over and over and over to get color, I think that makes these a really good value. So I'm going to put all the blushes away, and we're going to come back with the Vault Day. Oh, no, wait. I want to put on a little bit of a highlighter, and I'm going to go back to one of my favorite new ones, the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow Concentrate in Butterfly Light. Look how beautiful that is. And this adds a lot of glow, but it's really beautiful. You cannot see any base on this product. Okay, now that I love. That is a beautiful product. Maybe she will come out with blush versions like this. I know she has her stick, and I really do like them. But anyway, okay, we got our highlighter, we got our base. Let's clear it off and do a deep dive into Louis Vuitton La Beauté. I'll be right back. Bye. Okay, it's time to get out the Vault de Louis Vuitton La Beauté. I got this beautiful box after I saw my friend Critical Beauty drop one of her lipsticks, and it cracked a little, and so I can never have that. So I got this beautiful box, and I keep all of my Louis Vuitton La Beauté in here. So last September, the brand came out with 8 eyeshadow palettes, which I love. They also came out with 24, I think, satins, 24 mattes, and 10 balms. And I have a good amount of them. So I have 9 satins, 7 mattes, and 4 balms. So I figure today what we can do is kind of mix and match a little bit and see how the liners work with each of them. Now the liners just came out, well, a week and a half ago. And these are, they come in the standard beautiful Louis Vuitton packaging. These are $58 and come in 10 shades. These are made in the Czech Republic, which I haven't really seen in a lot of beauty. And I picked up 5 of the shades. There's lighter, there's darker, there's variations, but I wanted to get a little bit of each. So right off the bat, I will tell you that these are not 15 pounds each. They are not heavily weighted. They feel like lip pencils. So if you're expecting like a component like the eyeshadows or the lipstick, you're not going to get it. That being said, these are not refillable. They are a standard sharpen mechanism. And so it's not a component you'd want to keep for a long time. You're going to want to refill them. And that's why they're $58. I feel like they would be like $129 or something if they had somehow come up with a refillable component for these. That doesn't mean that the component that this is not beautiful. It's just got some little touches on it. For instance, it has the little flower. Focus. Come on, there you go. The little flower emblem. In fact, the whole pencil is actually not round. It's the flower shape of the Louis Vuitton flower. And then it has an ombre effect, and the color of the pencil is melting into black on each of them. Now, they also sell a pencil sharpener and a lip brush. I don't care about the lip brush. The pencil sharpener, you better believe I am still eyeballing, but it's $450. If it had been $250 like the eyeshadow compact, I think I would have got it. $450 is a little hard for a pencil sharpener. It's gorgeous, but these can be sharpened with any sharpener. It's not like the shape is so specific that it requires a special sharpener. It can be used with any sharpener. What I would say is at $58 a pop, I would use a really simple one, like the little free Chanel one that you can see, so you're not taking off more product than you would want to take off. But I have tested these out on the back of my hand. Like I said, they came in about an hour ago. For about 20 minutes, they were beautifully movable and I could blur them out. And then after that, they set down. So these are a beautiful, creamy formula, just like a standard lip pencil. You're getting a half a gram. And like I said, made in the Czech Republic, which is interesting. Sorry, no, you're getting 0.05 ounces. So let's go in and take a look at them. I guess we'll go lightest to darkest of what I have. I did not, like I said, get them all, but I think I have a nice enough combination here to show you. So first off, we have the shade Nude Riviere. These are really tight on here, and I think it's because of the shape of the pencil, but I really like that because the Chanel ones are pretty expensive too. They're like $40 or $42, but their caps come off a lot for me. These do not. So it's a beautiful, lightweight, super lightweight, almost feels like an artist's pencil. And so I'm going to start with the shade, what do we say this is? Nude Riviere 191. These are very creamy and very pigmented. So that's like a rosy pink nude. Probably like a perfect everyday color. Like I said, they have some others that are interesting too, like a sepia and a super dark and a different kind of red, but I just got a little mix here. The next one we have is 192, which is Nude Quest, which is kind of a more browny beige version. Beautiful. The colors in these are really beautiful. Like, they know what they're doing. They're expensive. Should you get them? Are they going to change your life? It's a lip pencil, people. But are they beautifully done, beautifully packaged, and a nice treat? Yeah. Okay. Next we have Monogram Rouge, which is $8.96, which is actually a very popular color in the lipstick. So we'll definitely try that with that. And this is a beautiful red, a deep red. If I go back, I might get a traditional red too. Then we have 290, which is Rose Whisper, which is kind of a fuchsia pink. And lastly, the last one I have is 490 Plum Comet. I love that those are so tight. That's what she said. Beautiful deep purple. So, again, what we have here from start to finish, we have Nude Revere, then we have Nude Quest, Monogram Rouge, then we have Rose Whisper, and Plum Comet. So let's see if camera will decide to, ooh, look, some laundry done. Let's see if camera will decide to focus in on these. Really beautiful colors. Such a nice creamy formula, but I haven't put them on the lips yet. So let's see how they look. But before we go any further, let's look at the lipstick collection I have from Louis Vuitton so we can come up with some combinations today. Now, like I said, Louis Vuitton lipsticks come in satin, matte, and then kind of like a balm. I have a mix of all of them. I don't have them all. I'm not a billionaire, but I do have a nice mix of them. So we can see what would look nice with what. So earlier I put on my, what's it called? Dr. Dennis Gross lip plumping and repair treatment, because I do that anytime I know I'm going to try on matte, so that it just goes on really smooth. Although the Louis Vuitton lipstick formula is spectacular. They know what they're doing. Okay. So again, the lipsticks are refillable, and there are components, the black for the matte and satin, and the ivory for the balms, although I guess you can mix them up. The lipsticks I think are $169, but then they're $69 for just the refills. So that's what I do. So let's take a look first at the satins, and then we'll take a look at the others. So I'm going to get this loaded up here, and then we're going to start looking at the satins. Be right back. And you know I'm going to put that dryer on a little bit more. Okay, let's start with the satins. So the first satin I have is called Spell on You. Beautiful. The second one I have is called Monogram Rouge. So we know what liner we're going to use with this one. But this is their brownie red signature reddish brown color. So good. These formulas are so nice. Okay, so let's see. We did Spell on You and Monogram Rouge. If you don't like this, I guess you could fast forward, but I think it would be fun to see what we think would work with what. Then we have Unreachable, which is a dark red, kind of a blue-based dark red. Beautiful. Then we have the shade Beige Machina, which I think is such a pretty shade. A pinky beige color. And then we have the shade Dune Explorer. I think this might have been the first one I got. I don't know, maybe not. And it's similar in depth, but it's a little bit more warm, peachier. Okay, then we have Silk and Spice, a very unique color, which is kind of like a caramel with a little more red in it. I keep saying caramel. I'm from Arkansas. Speaking of, this past weekend, I'm a little sore today because this past weekend we had to go down and my brother and I had to clean out our parents' house. They've lived there for 47 years and there were taxes there from the 70s. So that was not fun. Then we have the shade Rumbling Storm, which is a dark purpley brown. So that was intense, and I'm very sore. Then we have Touche de Rouge, which is an orangey red. Tomato red, really. That's beautiful. And finally, we have the shade On the Edge. And this is more of an orangey corally red. So that's a good variety of shades there. I don't have all 25 of them or 24 of them, but that's a pretty damn good variety. So what do we think? Well, I think let's start with Monogram Rouge because we want to know what it's going to look like with its own lip product. So it has a dedicated pencil. So let's start with Monogram Rouge. Shall I bring you in a little closer? Okay. Ooh, I hate doing this on camera. I always mess it up. Ooh, those are so soft. But not like soft, unmanageable, like the Merit ones or the Fenty ones. Like these feel, this is a really, really nice formula. And I like the Merit and Fenty ones, but they're more of like a lipstick in a pencil, where these are more like a traditional lip pencil. Should I have shaved for this? Probably. Was that a Dina Carter song from the 90s? Should I shave my legs for this? See, you take the boy back to Arkansas for the weekend and suddenly he's back into country music. That'll change. Okay. That went on so nice. And I could blend it, but there's no need to blend it with this one because I know that I'm going to use Monogram Rouge, the corresponding lipstick. So let's try on Monogram Rouge. I mean, that's beautiful. That is a statement color for fall, that's for sure. But it's just a beautiful color that they really, you know, it's a signature for them. I don't know what's coming next from them. My guess is perhaps eyeliners or mascara. When they start getting into blush and foundation and all of that, I think it's going to get really expensive. But, you know, I think it's coming. because I think the Louis Vuitton customer really likes this. So that is Monogram Rouge with Monogram Rouge. Put on real quick, not precise, but so beautiful. And oh, the formula is so good on these. Okay, I'll take this off. My lips will start burning and we'll try a different combination. Okay, they're already getting a little dark. You can tell because they're just getting slightly irritated from taking them off and putting them on, but that's fine. We'll figure it out. So next, I think what I want to do, let's see. You know what? Let's try a darker liner and ombre it a little bit into something lighter. So I think what I'm going to do is grab the shade. Let's grab the shade Nude Quest, which I think is the second lightest shade, perhaps. Let's put this on. Ooh, it feels so good. It's a weird thing to say about a lip pencil, because really, what can you do with that? But they do feel really nice. I noticed somebody, I think it might have been Critical Beauty again, say that hers, the first time she used them, cracked a little bit. I'm not having that problem, but she said the minute she sharpened them, they were perfect. So it could have just been a shipping issue. Or maybe they got hot. It's been so hot outside. And I think she lives in Miami, so God knows. Okay, that's a beautiful nude color. It's right here. Let's try something lighter and see if we can ombre into that a little bit. So I'm gonna take this and just kind of smudge it up a little bit. And like I said, you have playtime with these. And let's grab the shade Beige Machina. Is that the one? Yeah. No, let's do Nude Explorer. We'll try something a little warmer. I mean, that blended so nicely. So you can see it's got a slightly deeper liner, but they blended together really beautiful. Now, obviously, I could get out a lip brush and blend them perfectly. But what I'm trying to show you is you can achieve that look, that kind of ombre look. I love that combination. So again, that's Dune Explorer with the shade Nude Quest. Ooh, love that. Okay, take it off. Be right back. The hand is clean. That means it's time for another formula. And this time, let's take a look at the balms. Now, I really love the Louis Vuitton balms. I actually consider them like a kind of low pigment lipstick. They're very tight in pan. They're not like a YSL or a Fenty balm. I have 4 shades. There are 10 total, although one of them's clear. And these come in the ivory container, although you can switch them out however you want. And the container is slightly different, the component, because the balm is just formulated different. So this first one is called Sunset Hour. Really beautiful. Who's texting me? The next one is called Rose Essential. I love how these just snap in. It's pretty. And then we have Nude Poetry, which is kind of the caramel colored one. Love that. And these dry down almost matte. They're like a pretty natural finish. And finally we have Monogram Touch, which obviously would go really well again with that Monogram Rouge liner. So again, we have Sunset Hour, and then we have Rose Essential, we have Nude Poetry, and Monogram Touch. So what combination do we want to see? Let's compare, shall we? I think let's take a look at, we've tried those two. Let's do a light look, because balms, you know, I want to see what a light look looks like. So I'm going to grab the one called Nude Riviera, or Nude Riviere, and the shade called Nude Poetry. We'll see how that looks. So this is the one that's kind of a pinky nude. It's really pretty. It's lighter. You could use these as a lipstick. I mean, that'd be a really expensive lipstick. But tell me, how's that any different than the Victoria Beckham blush stylus? I mean, that's the equivalent of using a lip liner as a blush. Okay, so that is the shade Nude Riviere. It's a beautiful light pinky nude. Again, it's number 1 over here. And we're going to put that with Nude Poetry. I think it's going to look fine, so let's see. I love these balms. They're so comfortable. So you see that looks really beautiful. And I obviously could have used like this nude color, or even the clear one if I had it, with a dark one, and you get an even more dramatic look. But I love their balms. So that is the way they look with a balm. So let's clean off the lips and hands. They're a burning, and we're going to come back and look. I've got 7 of the mattes, and spoiler, I think the mattes is where they really excel. I think they're beautiful, all of them, but it's hard to get a matte that's so comfortable, and these are really, really comfortable. So I'll be right back. Okay, like I said, I think there's 24 of the mattes as well, and I have 7 of them. So I guess I'm slacking in that regard, but I don't wear mattes as much. So the first one I have is Sable Rose, or Sable Roses. It's so pretty. It's like a rosewood. I love that color. They just have really unique colors too, and they have some crazy colors too. I'll show you. I've got some little samples here of colors. Watch me say that I would never buy, and then I'll notice that I have probably bought them. Okay, then we have the Great Escape, which I think is a really popular one. A lot of these are sold out often, but if you put the little notice on, it'll tell you. So that's Great Escape. Then we have Sensual Wave. That sounds interesting. And that's like a muted fuchsia. Really pretty. Their colors are spectacular. Then we have Cure Batant, which is a more neutral version. Kind of similar to the last one, but this one's more neutral, creamier looking, if that's a right description. I don't know. Then we have Nude Necessary, Maybe this was the first one I got. Perfect nude lip, not like a MAC. It's not like a concealer lip. It's got enough pigment to where it's slightly more than that. Then we have Vuitton, which is a brickier kind of nude color. And finally, we have, and this is a new addition for me, I haven't had this one before, Breaking Point. Oh my god. Okay, that is a hot, hot pink. So we're going to have to try that today, even though that's a color I would not wear that much, but beautiful nonetheless. So, starting again, let's start. We have Sable Roses. Is it here? No, I started here. Sable Rose. Then we have The Great Escape. And then we have Sensual Wave in the middle. Then we have Cœur Battant. And we have that beautiful Nude Necessary. That definitely was the first one I got. It really impressed me. Then we have Vuitton. And we have Sensual Wave. Is it called Sensual Wave? No, it's called Breaking Point. Where did I get that from? So those are the ones that I have in mattes. And what that tells me is I need to get some darkers and some more orangey based ones. It appears in the mattes I've stuck nude except for that one. So that'll be my next order. Let me see if I have any samples that are different. I don't know. Yeah, I think these samples are all colors I have. So that's good though, because that lets me know next time go for something reddier or orangier. Okay, so what do we want to do? Well, let's see. We've already tried 3 of the liners. We have not tried Plum Comet or Rose Whisper. I think we're going to have to try Rose Whisper with that new Crazy Beautiful Breaking Point lipstick. Breaking Point. Breaking Point. Stop trying to call it something else. It's not. There are 2 or 3 of these that have been sold out forever and I can't seem to get, but whatever. Okay. So this is a beautiful rosy pink color. It might be a little light for this. That might not be the right color for this, undertone-wise. So you know what? Let's go in with the Plum Comet, and we'll do kind of an ombre lip on this one. This is going to be dark. That tells me next time when I get another liner, get something in between. But we'll do this. So this is Plum Comet. This is the darkest one I have. I think there might be one deeper than this. Woo! Yeah, that's deep. I'm going to try to create a little depth. Only because this is going to be a really intimidating pink color for me. But, you know, get out of our comfort zone. Okay, so again, what's this one called? Breaking Point. Whew. That is bold, but you see with that dark liner, if I got a little lip brush out, I could perfect this. I could use my finger. That's how nice these are. Look how I'm getting that kind of soft effect. Okay, that is gorgeous. And that deeper, darker liner cooled that down a little bit, that hot pink. So this is the hot pink by itself. So if you mix it with the plum liner, you get this, which I think is really beautiful and more wearable. Okay, I'll take this off and we'll do one last look because we have, what do we have? Rose Whisper left to use. Okay. Okay, last liner, Rose Whisper, which is kind of a lavendery, pastel-y kind of color. Which is actually almost the color of my lips right now because they're irritated. Ugh, it's got on my teeth. Doesn't taste bad. Okay. So I think on this one, what I want to do, because that's a beautiful rose color, but my lips are already turning that color. So let's grab, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab the one called Nude Necessary because it is a pure neutral and this liner is actually pretty cool. So I want to see how they look blended together. Could be a mess. Doubt it will be. Okay. So this is Nude Necessary with the rose liner. Is it rose? Rose Whisper. That's beautiful, but you know what I'm going to do? I want to see the contrast back a little bit, so I'm going to go back in with that liner just a little bit. And we're going to see if we can make a cool liner with the same depth as this nude color work. This is much pinkier. They go on nice over the lipstick too, which sometimes liners don't. I think that's really cool. I like that combination too. It's not one I would normally put together, but I think it looks really beautiful. Yep. So that is Rose Whisper with Nude Necessary. So we've seen a good little mix today out of them. I'm gonna come back with my final thoughts. So I can't tell you if they're worth it. It's a judgment call. What I will say is that, yeah, these are $58. The Chanel ones are like $42. These are better. I would say my favorite lip liners really are the Victoria Beckham, I really like, and the Westman Atelier. There's others I really like, but those are the two that I tend to go to the most. And this is right on par, if not a little better. These are really, really beautiful. I don't know if they have like my perfect contour color, like Biscuit from Westman Atelier, but I do know that they have other colors that might be. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get more of these. But again, they're $58. They're a splurge, but it's a beautiful component, as beautiful as a lip liner can be. And I love this shape. And they're a really beautiful product. It's the same thing I'll say for all Louis Vuitton. It just matters what matters to you. And for me, when I pull out the Louis Vuitton, it's for something that's like special or unique. And that's what I really like about the entire line. These are no different. So yeah, I like the Armani blushes. I think they're really beautiful. I think they are better than the Marc Jacobs. I think they're better than the Dior ones that are so popular. And I really like the lip liners, and I like the combinations we tried today. My guess is with them having, what is that, 60, almost 60 possible lipsticks and lip balms and only 10 liners, they want you to play around and experiment. And that's something that I really love about the Louis Vuitton line. And of course, their eyeshadows they have in so many different color combinations, and you can mix and match them. So I love the Louis Vuitton beauty. Pat McGrath, I think, has done a beautiful job, and I'm excited to see where they go next. But I may have to get a bigger box. Anyway, thank you for joining today. I'll try not to buy that damn pencil sharpener on my next order. And if you like this video, this kind of content, then please consider liking, subscribing, shopping my links, and sharing it with others who might like this kind of content. Really appreciate you coming here today for Louis Vuitton La Bouteille times Pat McGrath and a little Armani. Bye, everyone.